So I can't wait. I think I'd like to go ahead and try one, and I got one of the small ones here. Wonderful. Today, we're going to show you how to make blueberry muffins.
Welcome back to our channel. Today's video is part of a holiday cooking video series to show you plant-based options for the family. Make sure to check the notes in the YouTube description section for the ingredients and to find out more about recipes. Hope that you enjoy, and if you make this recipe, please let me know. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe so that you can be updated every time we upload a new video. This recipe calls for the product Ener-G Egg Replacer. If you cannot find that one, you can also find Bob's Red Meal Egg Replacer and follow the directions. Also, you can use flax meal in water in place of egg. This recipe also calls for agave syrup, which we typically do not use. If you are avoiding sugar or syrups, we want to recommend another product called Erythritol. It's found naturally in pears and grapes. It has 0 calories and sugar. It is great for baking. It's gluten-free. It's low on the glycemic index and has no preservatives. It structurally looks like mannitol, a well-known antioxidant. However, unlike mannitol and other polyols, such as xylitol and sorbitol, erythritol is well tolerated and shows no signs of toxicity. According to Dr. Michael Greger, new data may suggest that erythritol may be a sweet antioxidant. At the end of this recipe, we have added a sample of our podcast interview with Dr. John McDougall. We interviewed him at the end of 2019, and yet so many people listened to this episode in 2020 where he really talks about his life's work. He also talks about a new concern that he's had for a few years, which is the environment. So I hope that you listen to some of the clips from our interview with him and let us know what you think. All right, welcome to another video. What are we going to make today, Dr. Riss?
We're going to make blueberry muffins. Happy holidays, everyone.
The recipe today comes from the Starch Solution, Dr. John McDougall's book.
Maya's going to instruct, and I'm going to put everything together.
Okay, so first thing you're going to do is prepare your egg. 1 tablespoon of an egg replacer, 1/4 cup of warm water, and you're going to whisk it. Okay, the next thing that we'll do is we're going to get all our dry ingredients and put them in this bowl. That includes pastry flour and also the whole wheat flour. And what is the other one? Baking powder.
Baking powder.
To kind of mix. We're going to combine our wet ingredients, and that'll be, in our case, we're using soy milk. Dr. McDougall uses agave nectar. If you do not like this, we're going to talk to you about another sweetener that you can use. And then, of course, some vanilla extract and some lemon juice. Okay, and we're going to add our applesauce as well. So far you have started your egg, and the reason you start your egg on time is you wanted to give it enough time to thicken it. And Dr. Riss is mixing all the wet ingredients. We have the dry ingredients over there. Let's see if the egg has thickened a little bit.
It sure has. Congealed at the bottom, so I need to mix it again.
So we're going to add our egg to our wet ingredients. Some people like to create like a little hollow area here. I start pouring a little bit at a time and mixing it in. Just mix a little bit at a time. You're going to fold the blueberries into the mix. So we've done this recipe one other time, and we find that they're so good. I really enjoy them, don't you? Mm-hmm. I like having them in the morning, and you get blueberries in there, which is so good for you. It's not bad at all. Okay, that looks good. So we're using a silicone muffin tray, and you always need another tray to hold it because it's too flimsy. to be in the oven. So this is what we're gonna use. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and set the oven. All right, how's it going?
It's going all right. Takes a certain skill to be able to get the same amount in each one, but I think I got them. You know, you can see I put some extra in the beginning, and then I realized, oh, I need to put a little bit less.
All right, so it looks like our dough is ready.
And now we put them in the oven.
And then again, this recipe is from Dr. McDougall's book, The Starch Solution.
Yep. All right. All right, so the muffins have cooled off a little bit after we've taken them out of the oven. And now I think it'll be okay to go ahead and pop them out and put them on this cooling rack we have here. Yeah, this is certainly a lot easier to do now than immediately afterwards when they're still hot. All right, and there you have it. They're going to cool off a little bit more here, and then we get to enjoy some fresh blueberry muffins. So I can't wait. I think I'd like to go ahead and try one, and I got one of the small ones here. Wonderful. Very tasty, and then sweetened nicely by the blueberries, but not overly sweet. Well, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy your muffins as much as we have. Take care. Welcome to Plant-Based DFW with Dr. Riz and Maya.
We're very excited to introduce an episode with Dr. John McDougall, a pioneer in plant-based nutrition as well as in lifestyle medicine. Dr. McDougall's book, The Starch Solution, was the first book that introduced me to the idea of cooking plant-based foods and cooking without oil. Back in 2012, when the book was released, I would experiment with his recipes. Fast forward 7 years and I find myself at the American College of Lifestyle Medicine's annual conference listening to Hans Diel present the Lifetime Achievement Award to Dr. McDougall. This award is presented to individuals who have been devoted to the cause of lifestyle medicine for half of their lives or more. In this interview, Dr. McDougall will share a brief history of his life's work. Over the course of his career, Dr. McDougall's efforts have been to try to figure out ways to get people to adhere to a diet that will reverse diseases. Dr. McDougall is a board-certified internist and author of 13 national best-selling books, the international online McDougall newsletter, and co-founder of the 10-day Live-In McDougall program in Santa Rosa, California. He is a clinical instructor for 4 schools, training young physicians and licensed in 5 states in the U.S. to practice. His most recent passion was made evident during his acceptance speech. He spoke on climate change. Let's welcome Dr. McDougall.
Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Really nice to talk to people who are enthused about making a difference in people's lives. And so every spare minute I spent in the library reading scientific studies, and I found out that, I didn't discover this. I didn't discover the fact that eating rich food makes people fat and sick, just like the kings and queens of old. I didn't discover the fact that if you feed people a diet high in starch, in other words, potatoes, rice, corn, that they get better from these dietary diseases, or in populations worldwide, and we're talking about billions of people who live on such diets of rice and vegetables and so on, are thin and healthy and hardworking and warlike people. And I'll give you some examples. People of Central America, the Aztecs and the Mayans. They're known as the people of the corn. For 1,300 years, they had civilizations that thrived. Mm-hmm. Or if you get a little further south to South America, to the Andes, you find the Incas. And the Incas lived on potatoes, except for when they went to war, and then they changed to quinoa because it was easier to carry. When you think about the Far East, people think about rice. Up until 1980, the Chinese had a diet that was essentially 90% rice. You can think of experiences in your life that tell you that folks who live on diets based on starch, starches are like corn and rice and beans and potatoes and sweet potatoes. They're not things like kale and lettuce and broccoli and cauliflower. These I call green and yellow vegetables. They're just part of your diet, along with a little fruit. It's mainly starch. About 80-90% of your diet should be starch. The mantra you ought to carry around in your head is the fat you eat is the fat you wear.
Some people avoid rice because of small amounts of arsenic. What do you think about that?
I know. That's, if they would have raised the panic about the contamination in cows and pigs, which of course are the highest on the food chain, and they're often 1,000 times more concentrated in environmental poisons than the plants that they eat, that of course would not be popular. They like to hear good news about their bad habits is what they like to hear. Yes. So, since most Americans don't eat rice, it came over pretty well, the idea that rice might be a problem. This was first brought out in Consumers Reports. And they had, by the way, published an article that showed more arsenic in fruit juice the year before. The arsenic that occurs in rice is because rice is grown in poisoned soils. For example, in Louisiana, they grew cotton and they had boll weevils, and they killed the boll weevils by spraying arsenic. And arsenic got in the soil, and then they grow rice on the same fields, and the rice picks up the arsenic. So you just need rice grown on clean soils. That's, of course, the problem to find that. But even though that's been of concern, I have not seen arsenic poisoning, but I've certainly seen meat poisoning and cheese poisoning. So I kind of focus on what the real problem is, and the idea that they don't talk about the fact that the livestock industry creates at least half of the greenhouse gases out there. And predictions have been if people would change to the kind of diet that we're trying to get them to eat, a diet based on starch, then we could reduce global warming gases almost overnight by 50 to 70%. This blindness is of very concern to me these days because I have, 3 children, 7 grandchildren. And the most powerful step that we can make in giving us time on planet Earth is to switch to a starch-based diet. The reward for me is tremendous, just like it is for teachers and should be for doctors.
Along the lines of you spending a lifetime doing this work, we wanted to congratulate you on the Lifetime Achievement Award that you got from ACLM.
It's been lifetime enjoyment for me. It's an opportunity, a privilege to share what I know. We have a world to change. It's well worth saving. And any time I have an opportunity to get involved with folks like you who are willing and passionate and able to get out to the community, it's a great time for me.
Okay, guys, if you like this video, please hit the like button and make sure to subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe.
Hit that notification button.